assurance, the need of the hour. This is a question-based topic. Let me take you through this. Okay. सबसे पहले, the question is this a assertion or a debate? The answer is, or this is a question. This is a question. Okay. Now, what is the tone? So, agar question hai, you can say yes, you can say no. That's your choice. Tone kya hai? So, you can take either position, yes or no. But what do you think this topic really demands? Okay, ये topic क्या demand करता है? I'll say that the tone is yes. Okay, but other concerns also remain in a social development, in urban development. So I will say in this topic, see, urban employment assurance, this is part of the poverty issues, part of the food hunger issues, it's part of employment livelihood rights. Okay, but there are other concerns. I would keep this approximately at 90-10 probably. Or if I'm generous, maybe 80-20. 70-30 to nahi yaar, 10 and 20 तो passing remark होगा कि बाकी issues भी हैं. Not all problem can be solved by, but this is focused on a very specific problem. This is इसका backdrop क्या है? What is the context? Anybody can tell me? What is the context of this topic? ये कहाँ से आ रहा है topic? Yes, the migration crisis because of unemployment. Correct. The migration, the employment because of pandemic. The migration crisis because of pandemic. The employment crisis because of loss of jobs. There was a sense of resignation. Okay, there is an overwhelming a presence of the unorganized sector. Okay, we have NREGA program for the rural poor. We have no program for the urban poor, which can cover the problems of food employment. Yes, the context has been pandemic. The context is the high proportion of unorganized labor force in the urban areas. Pandemic. The problem of migrations increasing in the future. The urban poor may not have too many of options to survive on. There's also fear that India's demographic divide is moving towards some kind of disaster because we have not been able to manage the unemployment crisis. We have not been able to manage the skilling problem. Okay, slums have increased, correct? So these are some of the contextual, issues around which the topic has been asked. Increase of slums. We have this demographic dividend, which is not really usable because of the lack of skilling. We have the problems of a very large unorganized labor force, the migrant crisis related to pandemic and so on. Yes, the gig economy, absolutely. Gig economy and its stories of exploitation. Okay. So context ye hai, but I think of these contexts, the most important was the pandemic issue. Okay, if we did not have NREGA in the villages, there's every possibility that we would have massive hunger death. Okay, and if the population had not migrated, okay, I mean, if our cities had some kind of job or food assurance, the population would not have been forced to migrate out the way they did. This is the primary trigger of this topic, and the rest follows. Okay, so now if you come towards the essay itself, एक तो आप rephrase करो, rephrase the topic, So employment assurance, livelihood guarantee, it's about right to work and right to food. It's about social security for the unemployed. You can have alternate phrases there. A need of the hour, as in very urgent, very important, that is critical to some development, assuring the livelihood and the job facilities for the workers and the slum dwellers in the cities and the villages is increasingly becoming the most important and critical determinant of many other aspects of development. This itself is a rephrase. Rephrase the topic using alternate phrases. So what are the critical words? What are the key words? Okay, so urban employment assurance, like urban employment assurance, need of the hour. These are the three critical phrases. Urban is cities, urban is towns, urban is metropolitan areas. Okay, so urban, okay, towns, tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities, employment assurance, job security, social security for unemployment, some kind of formal program to take care of livelihood needs. So some words here. Need of the hour, they're important, they're critical, they are urgent. Go on there. So you rephrase it. Just as I taught you, rephrase this. Context aapka ban jayega. Okay, context, you can give a story around pandemic, how people walked back home and the problems therein. Okay, if only we had something of this kind, develop a context. Migrant exodus, you can go on. Achha. Now, come to the body. This is again a more of a straight topic, okay? Isme bhi see if you can write down some questions. So keep the topic keywords. Okay. So urban employment assurance is important. This is the key topic. Now add something here, play with this and give me 2-3 questions. And each of those questions can become your dimensions. How can urban employment be assured? Why urban employment assurance is necessary? How to restructure current urban employment assurance programs, how employment assurance leads to better economic growth, how to engage informal workers in urban transformation, what policy and institutional support is required, okay? Can urban employment lead to reimagination of our urban infrastructure? Yes, I'll accept this. This answer is part of why is urban employment assurance important? The answer is because of rural economy collapsing. How to increase capabilities of urban workforce? What factors hinder urban employment? Okay, fine. What are the learnings from India? Okay, now listen. Can you think of, again, 1 or 2 very interesting questions? Some very, very interesting questions, Sochua, that you think is going to be very interesting to discuss. How can the private sector be involved in urban assurance, urban employment and reskilling solutions? So what type of reskilling solutions we need for urban employment assurance? Is urban unemployment a surrogate problem? Unskilled labor assurance and not skilled ones. How can we have assurance for the unskilled laborers? How can we leverage technologies? What effects to be observed if employment is not created? Well, maybe a topic, maybe a question on which will be the critical sectors for urban employment assurance. Okay, does urban employment assurance negate competition? Okay, fine. One important question can be how to identify the genuine okay, target group for urban employment assurance program. Can this be a question? How to target the genuine, okay, target group think of how can neighborhood societies and resident welfare associations play an important role in urban employment assurance. Would urban employment assurance be enough to ensure stability of the economy? Yes, correct. This could also be a question. Okay, will this be enough to ensure economic stability where other reforms are still pending? Okay. Basically, you are saying it may not solve all the problems. Should government be the facilitator or should government be the regulator? I expect using your GS, you will develop your answers. All of you cannot write, okay, the answers to the others' questions. But think of those 5 or 6 questions around which your essay can revolve. आपको एक लॉ सोचना है, आपको एक टाइप का प्रोग्राम सोचना है. Irrespective of whether we have jobs or not, we should be able to give some kind of livelihood support. How can the government manage the fiscal say demands? How will we meet the financial requirements of urban employment assurance program? Yes, Amartya, correct. How can smart cities objectives be integrated to urban employment assurance? Guys, you have got enough of questions, no? Did you understand this technique of developing questions, all of you? This was my focus today. कि आपको मैं कैसे सिखाऊं how to make your essays interesting with a wow factor and not make the essay a unidimensional discussion in terms of the pestle technique. Yes, how can we utilize ICT to generate employment assurance? Okay, fine. To assure employment guarantee schemes. Yes. I'm sure all of you do not have answer to all these questions, but you can always pick up 5 or 6 of them. 5, 6 of them and develop those into your essay. So my effort primarily is to guide you how to think, because the answers will come from your GS. The answers will come from your optionals. The answer comes from your current affairs. That's going to be beyond me to some extent. Surrogate problems dimension. Basically, the idea is that what we see as lack of jobs, the solution is not to provide jobs. There is some deeper malaise. The deeper malaise is rural agriculture problems. The deeper problems are related to our inequalities. The deeper problems are related to lack of skills. So lack of jobs is a superficial thing. There are other deeper problems. We must solve that rather than focus only on employment assurance. I have given you 3, 4 options on how to develop your essays. What works for you and which type of topics you can develop in which way, that's your choice. The most convenient one according to your choice. You want to go from A towards B. There are thousands of ways how you can go. I have given you 2, 3 paths, some easy ones, some tricky ones, some which are innovative ones. What works for you is your choice. Okay, then that was for this discussion. Now go work on it. Now go work on it and see how you can develop and use your current affairs. As a current affairs, I am not the right person. I can teach you techniques. I encourage that. Let your essays have example from movies, from work of art, from speeches, from books. Please do. Please do. Thank you then. Bye-bye. Thanks for being patient.